It's 7 a.m. on Monday and your help desk starts lighting up. Users can't access the tools they need to do their job, like email and SharePoint and line of business apps. All of it they're locked out from. You trace it back fast. A junior admin was cleaning up the directory on a Friday afternoon and he deleted a security group, the one that contained specific application access for 200 users. Not moved, not soft deleted, gone. No recycle bin, no undo button, permanently deleted. Before we walk through this new feature that Microsoft introduced here to solve for this, the story usually ended one way. You'd start rebuilding from scratch, you dig through audit logs to try to figure out who was in the group, who should be members, you manually re-add members, and you hope that somebody documented the app assignments that you needed that were part of that. And you do all this while the 200 users are sitting idle, waiting to get back into their applications and have their access restored. Microsoft just shipped a new feature though for this particular problem, which is native built-in backup and point-in-time recovery in Microsoft Entra ID, which is currently in public preview as of March of 2026. It dropped quietly, there was no big announcement or message center notification just yet, but the community noticed, and I wanted to do a whole video here to show you what it covers, how to set it up, and how to use it as part of this preview. There's two main scenarios here that this backup and recovery is going to be really important for. One of which is accidental change, everything from the example I just showcased to you where we might have accidentally deleted a group, all the way into maybe a co-managed environment if you're an MSP, where IT on the customer side might be making changes and there's finger pointing that might be going on as to who made that change or exclusions to policies that you that are managing security wouldn't want to have happen. The other type of change that we typically see here is malicious in nature from an attacker coming in and compromising an account and maybe disabling, a conditional access policy or making exclusions as an example here too. This is something that's actually directly called out in the MITRE techniques that we see as well here too. That is something that you would want to roll back into a healthy state after a potential breach or an incident response plan. So in today's video, I'm going to walk you through three things. First, how Entra Backup and Recovery actually works under the hood. Second, a live demo inside the Entra Admin Center, browsing backups, running a difference report, and triggering a recovery. And third, the honest field notes, what it covers, what it doesn't, how it's limited here in the public preview, and how it might fit into your broader recovery strategy. So let's go ahead and dive in. So as you dive into an overview, guys, I put this diagram together just to kind of describe, and I'll walk through this with you guys as well here too, but effectively here, there's not actually anything that you need to do and go set up here to start like the auto trigger when you have this set up, and this will trigger once daily. You can't change the time of that at the time of this recording or anything like that, and there's not multiple snapshots per day. So there's definitely limitations there. As part of that, the snapshot itself is core directory objects, which you'll get into here in a minute. This might be different by the time you're watching this video, but we'll see some of that as we go through the demo. And then the tamper-proof vault, it's geolocked, it's immutable here. So not something that you can get into with what exists today within the Entra Admin Center. But this is the 5-day rolling window. We'll see that with the backups that we'll see within the T- tenant as an example. And then these are the backup objects here that include users, groups, authentication methods, policies. Probably expand to this over time, conditional access policies, but I've got the core ones here that I'd be most concerned with. So that's good as part of the actual scope here. And then the one other limitation that we'll be covering today is this property level recovery, not a full object rollback. So each object itself here has their own defined set of recovery attributes. And there's some pieces of this like group ownership or dynamic group rules that are actually out of scope. This is all part of their documentation. You should reference that, and I'll try to keep my blog at least up to date as things change with this, but it's important to understand what you're going to be recovering and what's actually not recoverable with some of these objects. Recovery workflow here, that we'll see as we walk through the demo is that you have these backups and then you'll create a difference report, which will show you the existing state versus the backup. And then you'll see the scope recovery, which means basically like, do you want to restore everything from this backup or do you just want to restore one group, right? As an example. And then we will go through the restore process. And there's two new Entra RBAC roles that were introduced as part of this, one of which is a backup reader, which can come in, view the backups, view the diff reports. And then there's a backup administrator, which is a reader plus you can initiate the recovery. This is actually included if you are a global admin, so you don't need to additionally tack this on if you are already a global admin in the tenant. To get started with this though, I'm here in the Entra Admin Center, and again, you do have to have one of those permissions to be able to see this and interact with it. But I'll go down and just click on this Backup and Recovery, which currently has this preview next to it. And if you click into backups here, you'll see the 5 days of backups in this particular case from the last 5 days at the time of this recording. And then what you can do from within here, clicking into this does nothing except highlight these as part of it, which is either recovery backup or create a difference report. Generally speaking, you're likely just going to create a difference report to understand the scope of what's changed. So I can do that here. When you do that, you can include all the objects in their previous state, or you can only include, or designate certain types of objects. So here I could say, hey, maybe I only want to do conditional access policy changes, right? And that'll go ahead and kick off that report. I believe here, the use case is, if I click on one of them here, and as you'll notice here, if I try to go click on another one and create another one, it's going to tell me that there's a job already in progress. But the big thing here, I believe, is, the more that you scope that down, the faster the job will complete. If I click on this difference report here, I already have one that's completed. This one's actually in a loading status. This took, I'd say, you can see the timestamps here, 11:44 to 12:10. So this took about, 25 minutes to go ahead and complete. And this is a pretty small tenant. So I'm not sure, how long these will actually take on larger production tenants, as they haven't actually done that yet. But that's a pretty decent amount of time. But regardless, we have calculated objects here, which is 9. If I click into here, I can actually see, the different objects that were part of this, the recovery action that we would have, and then the changes in attributes. So if you look at this, we have like this group here as an example called admin approval. And it's telling you the recovery action here is actually to soft delete this as part of this. So if I click into this, you can see here the changed attributes here is the deleted date of time here is got the report value of this, and then the backup value of this in particular. And I can click on the change links here to go ahead and see, remove member as part of this. So it's actually interesting the way that you'll have to read this, because this is basically saying, hey, this group was created in the last time since you had this backup, and the rollback action that we would do here, recovery action, is actually going to soft delete it and, remove these members, right, that are part of that as part of this. So if I click on another one here, you've got organizational updates, you've got conditional access policy changes. So in this particular case, the backup value, this was enabled, and since then it got disabled. And so here are the users underneath this, excluded users, right, that are part of this as well too. And the backup value only had one user. And so, wish this actually showed you the user, not the GUID, but I know, I made this change and added another user to the exclusion group. So you can go right in from this policy and say, recover this object. And you're also going to get this message here, at least for the time being, that says, hey, we need to wait for this other policy job to complete. So I'll come back to that here in a minute. But you could do these individually, one off at a time, or you could simply click on recover here. And we'll have to come back to this too, but this will go through how you would want to recover all of that within there. And then you can see the history here as part of this as well too, just on what you have actually restored. So we'll pause briefly while this other backup job or difference report, I should say, finishes, and then I'll come back and show you guys how to restore those objects. Okay, so we're back here, and this completed, took about 15 minutes, so not that much better even for a very filtered view. So I assume these are just going to take a while to generate, at least at this point in time. If I go back into this guy and I click back into our conditional access policy here, that went from enabled to disabled. We're going to go ahead and recover this object, and this is going to go ahead and start this recovery job. And then from here, I can go back into the recovery history, and this is actually already done. So I should be able to go now into my conditional access policies and then go into policies here and then look for this CC, and this is this guy. And now we can see that this is turned back to on, and
I also only have the one user excluded, right, as part of this as well now too. In addition, obviously, to these roles, but that was already there to begin with. So that says how easy it is to do that. And then if I wanted to do more of a restoration, I can do the whole list here if I really wanted to, and click on recover here. And then this is where we get the same type of filter that we did with the other one that we saw for the snapshot or the difference report, where you could say all the objects, or I want certain types, right, as an example within here, like maybe I only want the groups. But then we also have this ability to only recover specific objects by their ID. So you could say, hey, I only want groups, but I only want, to enter in the ID, which are goods here. So this gets a little bit more technical, and you have to look this up to understand which object IDs you'd want as part of this. I'd really, probably don't see the use case for that as much as just going in and maybe restoring a whole group, right? As much as you can with that as well too. Same things with the conditional access policies, right, as part of this. So unlikely that you'd restore necessarily everything because there's going to be a ton of legit changes most likely. So it's highly unlikely that you do the full breadth of every object within here. But you can go one by clicking into these change attribute sections, or you could just do recover and then certain object types.
Okay guys, let's go through some of the field notes here because there's a lot of things I want you to take away from this video. First and foremost, this is a genuine step forward. For the first time, you have this native tamper-proof platform managed backup of your identity layer, which means no PowerShell scripting, no external tools, and no manual export. Second, the recovery is property level only, not full object snapshots. The docs are very explicit about this today. Recovery applies to only supported properties. It doesn't imply full object rollback. Before you rely on this for real incidents and things like that, definitely take a look at the docs so you can understand the limitations that exist. Too much for me to go through as part of this video. Third, the 5-day window obviously at this point in time is a real constraint. Hopefully by the time they go into a GA approach, then you'll have a longer period of time of which you can have a restoration window. Bare minimum, I'd love to see like 30 to 90 days as part of this as well too, but just keep that in mind as you're going through this preview and maybe doing some testing. Fourth, you should know what's out of scope outside of the properties on each of the objects that are supported. Also understand that this doesn't apply to every single policy in Microsoft, like Intune configurations or Defender for identity settings or things like that. So understand exactly what is supported within these backups. Again, not over-relying on this solution and not understanding what you're actually protecting. Fifth, for MSPs out there, these changes are a direct client conversation you can have in your next QBR. You can point to the native Microsoft managed backup of their identity as part of the services that they're already getting, as long as Microsoft doesn't fork this into their own separate product as part of that. But it's a native good conversation to have to give them extra protections as part of the services that you're delivering. And number 6, obviously this is in preview, at least at the time of this recording, so behavior may change by the time this gets GA, and some of the things I've even outlined in this video, specifically also the UI, as part of that as well too. So run your difference reports now, go ahead and test things out. You're not actually going to be making gradual changes unless you actually restore and recover those backups as well too, but I think it's important to start to play around with that and a few client tenants just to see the variance in data that comes back on those difference reports. Okay guys, so to wind down here, if you think about our example at the top of the video here where that junior technician went in and actually deleted this group, caused all this chaos within the organization, think about if you could actually just go to the Entra portal, click on that date, and click recover with some of the settings I showed you today to get that specific group back to where it was in a matter of minutes. That's the promise of backup and recovery within Entra that we're seeing here today. Certainly there's a lot here that I'd love to see expanded, from the limitations as well as that 5-day window being expanded as well. But this is definitely going to help for both those accidental changes as well as potentially malicious ones when you're going through incident response. One action item I'd love for you guys to have is to actually go, after you stop watching this video, into the Entra Admin Center and see that backup and recovery tab for your tenant, and go ahead and try to restore from a previous day and see what kind of changes that you can surface in the difference report. Just understand what types of settings that you might be able to start including, and then document that into some of your runbooks potentially for incident response you guys might already have today when you go through that type of a process. If you guys like this video and want to see more information about all the updates coming from Microsoft, definitely subscribe to the channel. Otherwise, I'll see you next week.